back to Comcast Center. Steve Murphin, play-by-play man, with Russ Antler doing the color commentary for what should be an outstanding basketball game. It's a neighborhood rivalry. In fact, it's a civil war, isn't it, Russ?
It doesn't cut any deeper than this, Steve. Two schools, 4 miles apart, 5 miles apart. A lot of kids grow up with knowing each other, playing in the youth groups together. They still keep in contact along the way. It is nothing short of a bitter rivalry.
Dan Harwood, winner of 20 games or more, 8 of the last 9 years, including the 2001 state 4A championship, going against Dondrell Whitmore in his first year as head coach of the Sherwood Warriors. Sherwood last won a state championship in 1979, coached by Harry Lofter. Magruder in the home white. They have the navy blue trim. Sherwood wearing royal blue.
How long ago was that last championship for Sherwood?
1979.
Before any of these players were ever thought of.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's funny. It's almost an annual event for Sherwood to be in a state championship game, but it's always been football. Here they are in the basketball title game. We're tipping off, and Sherwood controls it. Joe Holston, and now over to Dominic Budd, and we're underway. Sherwood against Magruder. Deontay Twyman with the ball. We'll talk more about him in just a moment. Malloy, pass down low, knocked out of bounds by Magruder, and Sherwood retains possession.
Now the officials are going to discuss it. I saw one official point to Magruder.
Well, it will be Sherwood ball. Dominic Budd to inbound. Opening moments of the game.
Dominic Budd and Deontay Twyman, 2 members of Sherwood's State 4A football finalists.
Twyman on a 3-pointer from the corner, and where Sherwood scores first, 3-0. Twyman, a player, likes to take the game into his own hands. Does for Sherwood, and there's a whistle. And stepping out of bounds was Julian Boyle.
Both these teams capable of long-range accuracy. There was the 4A North Region final recently between Sherwood and Blake. There were 23 pointers made by both clubs, and Magruder consistently is in the 8 to 10 3-point baskets per game range, Steve.
Both regional finals for these two schools were incredible overtime games. Twyman from the foul line. 5-0 Sherwood. Twyman has all the points to start this game. He's smiling as he comes down court, looking for his first state championship of any kind. Now Holston steals the ball out of Robinson's hands. Holston gives the ball to Twyman. Justin Lee defending Twyman. Now it's over to Malloy. Malloy to Good. Twyman posting up. Brings the ball back up on top. Justin Lee defending Twyman. Now it's over to Malloy. To Good. Inside to Twyman. There's a whistle and an offensive foul called on Twyman.
And that's the type of foul that both Twyman and Sherwood need to stay away from. If Twyman's got to get his fouls, he's got to get them defending, trying to get steals, but certainly not on a post-up player control foul early in the game.
Justin Lee inbounds to twin brother Alex Lee. Alex Lee setting the offense, driving, and dishes it off to his brother Justin up on top. Working left to brother Alex. Alex into the paint. Dishes back over to Justin. Round to Henderson, who drives right side. Pump fakes, puts up a shot, and he travels.
Magruder looking a little bit tight so far. They haven't really been able to get into their rhythm on offense. And Sherwood's got the early 5-0 lead.
Budd over to Good. Good over to Malloy. Malloy trying to get the ball inside to Twyman. Driving left side. Back up on top. Holston, and back over to Twyman again. Twyman all over the court, handling the ball high, handling it down low. He owns all the points in this game thus far. 5-0 Sherwood, they lead, 5:39 to go, first period.
One of the things that Sherwood does really well, when Twyman has the ball out front like right now, they have a lot of spacing to give Twyman plenty of room to operate.
Justin Lee was trying to draw a foul on Twyman right there, to no avail. Twyman giving directions just like a quarterback would.
Well, Twyman has
Ball is tied up.
Twyman has such an explosive first step that you must give him room on that jab step, otherwise he'll be by you in an instant. You must respect that if you're the defender. And of course, with his great leaping ability, he can easily pull up and shoot the jumper almost over anybody.
Into the game for Magruder is Justin Taylor. He got Magruder into the state championship game with his 12-foot jump shot at the buzzer against Eleanor Roosevelt. And now he'll shoot from the corner, up, around the rim and no good. The putback by Brian Henderson, and Magruder is on the board. 5 minutes to go, first period. 5-2 the score, Sherwood on top.
Henderson followed that ball beautifully to the basket, grabbed the rebound, and easily put it off the glass for Magruder's first basket.
Bud working against Alex Lee. Twyman going against Justin Taylor. Twyman giving directions. Waiting, now driving. Holston, shot from the corner. Good! Sherwood connects on 2 threes here to open the quarter. They lead 8-2.
Bo Holston, that's his favorite shot.
Donald Robinson right back. Rebound goes to Sherwood. That was C.J. Good skying. He unloads it to Dominic Bud, who brings it down court. Right wing, Bud in the corner to Malloy. Malloy tries to drive baseline. It's shut off up on top. Holston over to Twyman, and Twyman will set the offense again. Malloy driving. Short runner, no good. Alex Lee on the board. Lee brings him down court. Foul line shot, up, around the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Twyman. Dominic Bud. Alex Lee picking him up at half court. Twyman. Justin Taylor on him now. Twyman shoots a 3. Good! Oh my, Deontay Twyman says, I want this game.
And Sherwood has opened up on fire and has a 9-point lead with 3:25 to go.
11-2, Magruder trailing. Brian Henderson driving, baseline, across to Justin Taylor. Now he drives, up on top to Michael Scher. Scher shoots, Scher scores!
And Michael Scher, through these last series of playoff games, has really picked up his play, and he has become a dangerous three-point threat for the Magruder Colonels.
Michael Scher with a 3-point shot. He had 21 points in the regional final in the victory over Quince Orchard. That was a career high 21. And Twyman commits the turnover, palming the ball.
And already in this game, Steve, we've had 4 three-pointers, 3 by Sherwood, 1 by Magruder, and we barely played 5 minutes of the first period.
Alex Lee comes out of the game. Xavier Johnson in. Justin Taylor will run the offense for Magruder. Justin Lee over to John Toomey to Scher. Scher driving left side. He loses the ball. It goes out of bounds, and it's Sherwood's ball.
Well, Scher looked like he was grabbed there by C.J. Good, but there's a no call. The ball rolls out of bounds, and Sherwood has the possession.
The Warriors lead 11-5, 2:32 remaining in the first period. Bud driving, cut off. Bud has the ball back, working against Johnson.
And this is something we have not seen, Steve. Deontay Twyman posting up.
Turnaround jumper, good by Joe Holston. 13-5, Sherwood. Taylor running the offense as Alex Lee is on the bench. Twyman covering Taylor. Over to Scher. Scher driving into the paint. Dishes it off, and pass goes out of bounds.
Scher claiming that his arm was held as he tried to deliver the pass, and that's why the pass sailed over his teammates, head out of bounds. So far in the last 2 sequences, Scher believes he's been fouled twice, and he might have an argument there, but there's been no call, and Sherwood's been the benefactor.
Twyman waiting to get the ball from the referee, already barking instructions. He quarterbacked Sherwood to the state championship game 2 years in a row, losing this year in overtime one of the greatest athletes in Montgomery County history. Now Gilchrist on the turnaround jumper. He scores. Sherwood is on top by 10, 15-5.
And Tommy Gilchrist, fresh into the game, he posts up and gets the turnaround jumper. The Warriors are up by 10.
Justin Lee driving left. Alex Lee picks up the loose ball, and there's a foul. The foul will be on C.J. Good as he and Alex Lee got tangled up going for that loose ball. Into the game is Brian Henderson for Xavier Johnson. Henderson at 6'2", in for the shorter Xavier Johnson at 5'8". Alex Lee in his familiar role running the Magruder offense. To Share to Robinson, loses the ball momentarily to Henderson. Justin Lee driving to Donald Robinson, off his shoe to Share. Share shoots a three-pointer, it's short. Twyman gets the board. Twyman bringing it down, bumped by Henderson. Twyman trying to draw that foul, now runs into Alex Lee, and a foul is called on Alex Lee. Did you notice Twyman was backing up trying to draw a foul, and then drives and gets the foul?
Well, something that any good ball handler will do is they'll try to create an off balance and a change of pace type of drive, which will confuse the defender many times.
Foul's called on Alex Lee before the ball was inbounded. Lee is very upset with that call. You saw a basket scored by Sherwood, but that basket was waved off.
And that's two quick fouls on Alex Lee, and he'll have to take a seat on the bench.
Dan Harwood rushing down to the other side of the bench, asking what happened there. Twyman inbound, 54.7 seconds left first period. Twyman calls timeout as Magruder had his players covered. Magruder finding themselves down 10. That's not an unfamiliar position for them. They're down 10 to Quince Orchard in the regional final and came back and won that game in overtime.
Well, something that Magruder is noted for, and particularly Coach Dan Harwood, it'll be very patient, and even if things aren't going their way early on, you know, he still sticks with his game plan. He's got a great feel for how he substitutes his players and managing the game. And guess what? At the end of the game, Magruder is usually right there with a chance to win.
Donald Robinson has yet to take a shot in this first quarter. It's something to point out, because when he gets hot, Magruder can get on a roll. And same with Michael Scher.
Well, in the case of Donald Robinson, the Colonels need him to score, and to score often, in order to continue to stay competitive in this game.
Juwan Young driving, and he's hacked on the way up for that layup. That foul is going to be on Brian Henderson. That's his first.
And I'd have to say so far, Steve, that as we get to the end of this first period, Sherwood has just played with more energy than the Colonels so far to date. Would you agree?
I do agree. They're playing like a team on a mission. And we noticed throughout the week, and especially at the press conference following Sherwood's semifinal win, they're playing with a purpose. For the players who've been on the football program who failed to win a state championship in football, they want to win it for them. And they're playing like that mission is going to be accomplished today, right now, early in this game. Justin Taylor driving, puts up a shot. He's fouled.
Great drive by Justin Taylor. Showed a lot of quickness getting to the hoop there, and now he'll go to the line for two.
Having said all this about Sherwood and their desire for a state championship for these players, Magruder has a lot to say about that.
Well, Magruder is the regular in this position. They've had the opportunity to go to the Final Four a number of times, I think 4 times in the last 6 years.
Correct.
So this is, you know, a common occurrence for their program.
17-6, Sherwood leads. Justin Taylor shooting the second of 2 free throws. 38.3 seconds left. The last shot is short. Sherwood comes down with the rebound. That was Xavier Yeoman feeding it over to Gilchrist, and now to Juwan Young, who has the ball setting the offense. 27 seconds. Gilchrist working Taylor, and now Holston fakes a three-pointer, takes a dribble, shoots. Rebound goes to Kevin Judge. He puts it back in for a 19-6 lead.
And Sherwood is thoroughly dominating at this point in the game.
Justin Lee, 6 seconds, 4 seconds. Driving, finding Robinson. Robinson in. DeJoy and Boy on the clock just ran off on the Magruders.
And Magruder acted like they didn't even know how much time was left in the period there. And they don't get up a shot. And at the end of the first period, the Warriors of Sherwood with a commanding 19-6 lead.
Justin Taylor will inbound to Alex Lee to start the final period and the final game of the Maryland High School basketball season. Stands at both ends on their feet. Donald Robinson to Justin Taylor.
Every possession so crucial now.
And a steal. Holston touched it. Twyman picked it up. He shoots a short jumper off the glass, off its mark. Sherwood on the rebound with Alex Lee racing down court against Bud. Dishes it off. Back to Robinson. Shoots a three. It's blocked by Holston. Robinson dives for the loose ball. There's a whistle and a foul's being called on Robinson. How frustrating for Donald Robinson.
Well, Donald Robinson did not see Bo Holston anywhere near him, and he thought he had a clean three-point shot. And the next thing you know, Holston stuffed it, and in the mad scramble for the ball, Robinson got whistled for the foul.
Holston now with the ball, being defended by Henderson. Henderson reaches out, touches. Holston drives, puts up a shot. Missed. Rebound controlled by C.J. Good. Put up a shot. He missed it. Got his own rebound and put it in. 37-26. 1 minute gone in the final period.
Key rebound basket for Sherwood. Good with two attempts, and he got it down on the second.
There's a whistle. Dan Harwood arguing with the official.
Things are starting to get a little bit heated over there.
Harwood wants an explanation of what happened on that call. The call's in his favor as Magruder will get the ball. Justin Taylor will inbound. Taylor has played a lot in this game. He came off the bench at the end of the game in the semifinal, scored the winning basket, but didn't play a whole lot in the game. He's been on the floor a lot tonight for Magruder and doing a good job at that. Henderson to Taylor. Taylor calling the play. Going down in the lane, unloads it. Three-point shot by Henderson. Off its mark. Rebound. Knocked out of bounds by Michael Scher. C.J. Good had position. Scher was over his back. Knocked the ball out of bounds. Sherwood inbounds. Pressure coming from Magruder. They trail by 11. Twyman to Malloy. Malloy, Scher swinging his arms. Down in the corner to Holston. Fakes a three-pointer. Puts up the shot. Off the front of the rim. Robinson with the rebound. Robinson over to Taylor, who brings it down court. Into the lane. Over to Alex Lee in the corner. Shoots a three. Rebound. Controlled by Malloy, but loses it. Tried to save the ball from going out of bounds, actually. Now Alex Lee with the ball. And Henderson puts up a three. Henderson scores. 37-29. Magruder pulls to within 8, and there's a timeout.
And that's Dan Harwood for you. He immediately calls for that timeout to stop the action, and he can discuss with his team what their next plan of attack will be. And the Colonels have cut the lead to 8 here with 5:59 to go in the game.
He knows he needs to apply some pressure to force a turnover, get the ball back. He's probably giving his players a rest and giving them their instructions, and we head out to the floor with 5:59 to go in this game. Magruder still has 4 timeouts left, and you'll see Dan Harwood use all those in the final period. Sherwood with 3 timeouts. The team foul situation is Sherwood 16 fouls, Magruder 14 fouls. 5:59 to go, 4th period. The final game of the Maryland high school basketball season, the 4A championship.
And Magruder is showing full court man-to-man press now to try and pick up the tempo of the game and not let Deontay Twyman just do what he wants to do out there.
Malloy Takes a dribble and now gives it over to Twyman. Twyman with Justin Taylor on him.
Well, that looked like it might have been a walk.
Bud and Twyman exchange passes. Twyman defended by Taylor, runs into a screen by Good, shoots a three-point shot, up, around the rim, no good, and he's hacked. A three-point foul by Brian Henderson.
You just can't do things like that. Twyman showed that he was gonna shoot it, and you just gotta let him shoot it and let the chips fall where they may. To give him 3 shots to the foul line now, not good for the Colonels.
Twyman's first shot is up and in. 38-29, Sherwood on top. While these free throws are being shot, we should point out Magruder, averaging 57 points a game, are nowhere near that mark right now in the final period. Twyman hits a second and pumps his fist and claps his hands. The Warriors lead by 10. Third attempt on its way. Up and good. An 11-point lead and a big turnaround in the favor of the Warriors.
And Twyman, 19 of Sherwood's 40 points.
Justin Taylor, shot off by Good to Henderson. Henderson pointing direction. He wants a screen, but drives, puts up a reverse layup. It's short, rebound Sherwood. Rebound to Malloy, to Twyman, to Good. The finger roll, misses. Gets his own rebound and puts it back in. Donald Robinson went for that loose ball, but Good came up with it, and he scored, and a 13-point lead, 4:55. Taylor to Lee, Alex Lee into the paint, off to Henderson, up, and around the rim, and it falls in. We got a great game going now as the teams exchange baskets. 42-32 Sherwood, 4:40 to go.
And once again, Deontay Twyman will try to slow the pace and just bleed time out of the clock.
Justin Taylor leans into Twyman. That will be Magruder's 6th foul. Into the game for the Warriors is the X-Man, Xavier Yeoman. And he'll give Kenny Malloy a rest. Bo Holston, Deontay Twyman, C.J. Good, Dominic Budd, Xavier Yeoman. Yeoman with the ball.
And with no shot clock, Steve, Magruder has their hands full because Twyman is an expert ball handler and controls the pace of the game.
Holston on Henderson, to steal by Alex Lee, but he loses it out of bounds. He thought he was fouled. He's not happy. Good effort by Alex Lee trying to knock that ball away. Bud inbound in front of the scorer's table to Twyman. Taylor on Twyman, and now Holston with the ball. Twyman looks at a three, drives, dishes it off. Yeoman loses the ball out of bounds.
You know, when you play against a player like Twyman and you're a taller inside player, you must play with your hands up. When Magic Johnson first came in the league, a lot of his teammates were not prepared to the type of passes he could throw, and if their hands weren't up, they'd get right off his body, right off their body, right off their face. That's exactly what happened to the other end.
Justin Taylor on the drive and the layup, and that pulls the Colonels to within 8 once again. That's the closest they've been in this second half.
Magruder keeps trying to put the pressure on Sherwood, but every time Sherwood seems to be able to answer and extend the lead.
3:32. Dominic Budd defended by Lee. Over to Twyman, the man you want to have the ball in the hands of, and he drives, and there's a pushing foul. That's going to be the 7th foul on the Colonels, and Twyman will go to the line shooting 1-1. Twyman, he with 19 points, leading scorer in the game. In fact, he is the only player in double figures for Sherwood. He connects for his 20th point, turns around and looks at his teammate Dominic Budd and smiles, and now shoots the second shot right here. 3:25 to go on its way. It's short. Ball is knocked out of bounds by Brian Henderson. Sherwood gets it back. Everything is falling for Sherwood right now.
It just seems to be their night, Steve.
Twyman and Bud, his partner on the football team. They played the state football championship just 4 months ago. Holston driving, puts up a shot and scores! And there was a foul too. Count the basket, the official says. Call a foul on Donald Robinson. Holston at the line. 12-point lead, 46-34.
And just like that, it's double digits again, and the Colonels can't continue to, the Colonels are just having trouble getting the lead down.
There's Robinson on the basket by Henderson, and Dan Harwood calls timeout again. He wants a full timeout as the Colonels pull within 10, 46-36. When we come back from this timeout, 3:01 to go. Declare the state champion. Who will it be? Magruder? Can they come back? Or will it be Sherwood, who has the 10-point lead?
Sherwood's led all the way. They've answered every challenge by the Colonels. And so far, it doesn't look like the Colonels are going to be able to climb the mountain. But you know what? We've still got 3:01 to play.
Well, Dan Harwood's been around a long time, 17 years as Magruder's coach, a career record of 297 wins, 112 losses.
That's a lot of wins.
That's a lot of years. State champion in 2001, a finalist in 2002, a semifinalist in 2003. They had the big win over Eleanor Roosevelt in the semifinal, 63-61. Perhaps that took everything out of the Colonels, but they don't have enough left to take on the Sherwood Warriors and Deontay Twyman.
Well, you know, it's interesting what we've seen here so far today. Earlier today, BCC had a similar situation where maybe in their game against Largo, they had a lot taken out of them, and they didn't have anything left for River Hill.
Sherwood inbounds, trailing, or rather leading by 10. Twyman finds Dominic Budd, who gives it back to Twyman. That combination has worked a number of times. Twyman racing down court. Holston in the low right corner, gives it back to Twyman. He's double teamed. Ball is batted by Alex Lee, but retained by Bud. Twyman up high, perhaps running out the clock, waiting for the right moment as he drives in and puts up a finger roll over Donald Robinson, and a 12-point lead for Sherwood. Driving was Alex Lee. He misses the layup. And trying to tie the ball up is Alex Lee, going against Yeoman. The foul is called. Foul's called on Alex Lee on that, trying to tie up that loose ball. Unfortunate sequence of events for the Colonels.
It looks like Alex Lee had the layup. The ball just wouldn't drop. And then he fouled trying to create the tie-up. And now the X-Man will head to the line.
Alex Lee and Justin Lee, his twin brother, are outstanding soccer players, being recruited by Division I schools, do an excellent job for this Magruder basketball team, but maybe not enough this afternoon, or make that this evening. Tipped in by Deontay Twyman on the missed free throw, pounding his chest saying, yeah, 50-36. Sherwood leads by 14. Justin Taylor with a shot, rebounded by Twyman. Defended by Boyle. Twyman bringing it down, 2:15 to go, 50-36. Sherwood on top. Coming up on 2 minutes, Bud. Michael Scher defending Bud. Bud dribbling around him, still has the ball. There he goes, in the lane. Now comes back up on top to Holston. 50-36, 1:50 to go. This could be the state championship Deontay Twyman's been looking for, and Donald Robinson fouls Joe Holston.
Steve, I just took a peek in the kitchen.
What time is it, Russ?
And you know what I found when I was looking in the kitchen?
What did you find?
The refrigerator door is closed, the lights are out, the eggs are getting hard. No, the butter's getting hard, the eggs are cooling, and the Jell-O's jiggling, and everything's going for the Sherwood Warriors.
Bo Holston hits the first free throw. Biggest lead of the game, 51-36. Another free throw on its way by Holston. It rolls around the rim, and falls in. 16-point margin for the Warriors.
And that last foul shot by Holston was symbolic of how this game has gone for the Warriors.
Justin Taylor, three-point shot. Around the rim, no good. So you have around the rim and good for Sherwood, around the rim and no good for Magruder. That's the story of this game.
And the Sherwood Warriors are going to win their first Maryland State Basketball Championship since 1979.
28 years between state championships. A lot of state championships have been won by the Sherwood Warriors in a number of sports. But this one, I think, is going to be real sweet for a couple of guys out there named Deontay Twyman, Dominic Budd, C.J. Good, members of the football team this past year who lost in the state final, but perhaps going to be state champions in basketball. C.J. Good shooting the second free throw. It's good, and a 17-point lead for the Warriors.
You think those Duke Blue Devil style uniforms had anything to do with it, Steve?
Twyman on the steal. Twyman with 24 points. And there's another frustration foul by the Colonels.
And Twyman's averaged barely 16 points a game. In fact, slightly under 16 points per game this season. And tonight, 24. He's made all the key shots, made the foul shots, and now he's going to the line again to ice this one for the Warriors.
Twyman up and in. Look at him turning around, pumping his fist going. There's another one. Slapping five with Dominic Budd. Make that C.J. Good. Twyman. Up. And in, and another free throw. 55-36. 19-point lead. 26 points for Twyman. The game of his life. Perhaps the best basketball game he's ever played. Michael Scher trying to cut the margin. Robinson the rebound. The putback is good. And Dan Harwood calls a timeout.
Well, the cat's out of the bag. That's right. The cat's out of the bag. No, the cat's in the bag, and the bag's in the river.
Stick to the refrigerator, will you? When we come back from this timeout, there will be 1:13 to go. Sherwood leading 55-38. Behind us is probably half the town of Albany, half the town of Ashton, and probably the whole town of Sandy Springs. They're here rooting on their Sherwood Warriors. There's perhaps 3 or 4 generations of Sherwood fans throughout this crowd of almost 12,000, one of the largest crowds ever to watch a state championship game, and the first time ever the two Montgomery County teams have faced off in a state championship game. Budd fouled by Justin Taylor. Leading the way for Magruder is Brian Henderson with 13 points. He's played a fine game, as has Justin Taylor, who has played most of this game. Twyman egging the fans on from Sherwood as they're singing all those chants you hear at the end of basketball games.
And now they're giving the Colonels some of their own medicine by using the Colonels' famed chants, "This is our house."
At the line is Budd. 55-38, 17-point lead for the Warriors. His shot up and good, 56-38, 18 points. He slaps 5 with the X-Man. He slaps 5 with Twyman. Second free throw on his way and a 19-point lead. Up in front of the rim, bouncing around and falling through. 57-38, coming up on a minute to go in the game.
18 of 24 for Sherwood from the line. There's a steal by Twyman, the foul, and he'll head to the line for 2 more foul shots.
Foul by Julian Boyle. 26 points for Twyman, just 1 foul, and he got that foul very early in the game. Dondrell Whitmore, in his first year as head coach of the Sherwood Warriors, his first head coaching job ever, he was asked after the semifinal win, Was that his biggest win ever? He goes, they're all big wins. As he has seen his Warriors take dominating control of this game from the opening tip-off. They led 5-0 early as Twyman took control of the game himself with the first 2 buckets of the game. And now for a 21-point lead, C.J. Good.
And it looks like Dontrell Whitmore is going to sub in some players. And maybe here's the sub in
into the game
for C.J. Good.
Tommy Young.
And I would expect that maybe Twyman will get a curtain call here before the final 59 seconds runs off the clock.
C.J. Good being hugged by Whitmore and his teammates as he comes to the bench. Xavier Johnson driving. Shot put up by Paul Schwinn off its mark. Budd on the rebound. Down to Holston. Holston driving up and a jam! And that's the final message. We're champions of the world. Bo Holston with the jam.
Bo Holston punctuates this championship game for the Warriors
Rebound
with a thundering dunk.
Rebound by Kevin Judge. He feeds. Running for the touchdown was Deontay Twyman.
He could go all the way.
None of that counted, by the way, but it sure sounded good. Sherwood leading by 23. What a surprise. 61-38. 26 points in the 4th period for Sherwood, just 12 for Magruder. They took control of this game from the beginning, and they had a very safe lead throughout the game, although Magruder kept it close. But suddenly, in the closing moments of this 4A championship game, Sherwood has just taken over in dominating fashion to lead by 23.
Well, Magruder started the game in kind of a funk, Steve, and it seems like they never really woke up out of it.
Into the game for Sherwood, we'll try to get all the subs. Brian Rodriguez, Kevin Judge, Jawan Young,
Deontay Twyman congratulating every member of his team, and their coach, athletic director Bob Salento gives Twyman a huge hug.
Tommy Young is in the game. Todd Shergengostin for Sherwood also. These players will handle the ball as the starting 5 are on the bench, standing, applauding, slapping 5 with their teammates. Another sub coming into the game for Sherwood is Bobby Hewitt. Full timeout being called by Sherwood.
Sherwood, 26 fourth quarter points. You know, 1 week ago in the region final against Blake, they came with 29 fourth quarter points to come from behind to beat the Bengals. And now with 26 here in the 4th quarter, they have put the hammer down on the Magruder Colonels.
Sherwood has won now 15 of their last 16 games. The only loss they've had since January 10th was on February 5th to Whitman, 47-38. They've won 15 of 16.
The defending state champion from 2006 Whitman Vikings, I might add.
Right. They'll have a school record 23 wins at 23-4. Final seconds being counted down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sherwood, the state 4A champions. Congratulations to the Sherwood Warriors. They come over to us in front of the table to see their fans jumping and screaming. Dontrell Whitmore hugging Dominic Budd, hugging Jawan Young. Everyone pointing their fingers in the air saying, number 1, Sherwood Warriors, the 4A champions, and now they're piling on their teammates on the floor in front of their fans.
And it's a mob scene here on the floor as we got a big pile up. We hope nobody's getting hurt in there. But that's pure joy, Steve.
There's no better feeling for young men to be state champions, but for this band of brothers, they've come a long way in a lot of sports and have come up short. And here in the final game of Deontay Twyman's sports career at Sherwood, he finally wins the state championship. We want to also congratulate the Magruder Colonels, who've had an outstanding season as well. They end the season 20-6 and battled through some very tough basketball games to get here, winning some very big games against Quince Orchard in the regional final, Eleanor Roosevelt in the state semifinal. they just ran out of gas against Sherwood.
Yep, it just appeared from the opening whistle that they just didn't have their A game tonight. And when you get to the state final, you must bring your A game if you want to walk out with a championship.